Hi, this is Mary Jo from EXP. Welcome to MJTV. Here we are, 4th of July weekend, and let's go out and celebrate. It is so nice to be able to celebrate with people again, see your friends, see your families without as much threat of COVID. Yup, it's still there, but we can at least do nice small gatherings. So, first of all, have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Secondly, thank you so much for coming. Today, we're going to talk about a 10-minute buyer guide to winning in 2021. And I have a surprise for you. I go through artisan homes. It's the artisan tour. We see gorgeous, very exceptional properties, and I have one of them to show you today. So before we do that, I would love to invite you to sign up below so I can keep in touch, tell you what's coming next. Next week, I'm very excited. I did a video with Dom Interiors in Market Square, the design center, and it is Italian kitchens. And as you know, or if you don't know, Italian kitchens, the Italian design is always very sleek, very modern. I've known some people that live in 400-year-old homes, and it's been the family homestead the whole time. So the design goes the opposite way. It goes very, very modern. There's some glass kitchens, tempered glass, supposed to be durable as rock. So don't forget to tune in next week. It'll be super exciting. So again, don't forget to sign up below so I can keep you in touch of what's going on. So now let's hop on my virtual tour bus for the 4th of July and go see a spectacular house with a pool. So this is out in Orono, and it is a brand new, beautiful home by Handel Homes. And as you can see, it does have a pool. Not only does it have a pool, but it has a pool house. And this is the inside of the pool house. And you might think a pool house is just like a little cabana. Oh no, it's a big deal. This is the living room, and notice the high ceilings, the massive timber structure in there. This is another view, okay, over the TV. And what looks like it's not broke, but it is LED lighting. I love this dining room. It's surrounded by windows on 3 sides. It's great rope light. Black kitchen, of course, it's a big open space, lots of stone, so it's black and it's chrome. This is a guest bathroom, and I'm just blown away by the stone. It's turquoise white marble. Here we have the bathroom, and the news here is we have a chrome tub. There is lots of glamour, lots of glitter. This is the shower. Big black stone in the back of the shower, glass doors. Here's just a little hallway on the upstairs. Beautiful arch, reminiscent of the 30s. This is an office. You feel like you're in a chalet. I love this office. It's so spare. It's so clean. Here's the back of the house, and you notice to your far right, that's the dining room with the curled like rope lighting. So it's a beautiful, beautiful home. If you have a chance to go to the artisan tours, you'll love it. You'll just love it. It gives you new ideas of what people are doing. And of course, most of these homes are high performance homes. You will see the big windows, but they're high tech windows. So they will still they absolutely insulate the house against the outside. Obviously, they're going to close the pool down during the winter, but they are high energy performing homes and gorgeous design. Timbers are coming back. There are timber homes, but you'll see a lot of massive timber trusses inside the home that are open, paired with very modern design. So you'll get some warmth from the timber and then very, very sleek design. So it made me super excited. I loved seeing it. It's one of my favorite homes. So moving on. Today we're going to talk about a 10-minute buyer guide to winning offers in 2021. Oh my gosh, this is a seller's market, and sellers are taking so much advantage of it. Most houses are snapped up within a couple of days in a heartbeat. Well, what's a buyer to do? How do you compete? So you need a strategy, and the worst strategy is just chase every new listing as they come on, because you're one of a lineup in there. You need a strategy, a smart strategy to know how to make an offer. First, make your offer as clean as possible. Well, what does that mean? That means not a lot of financing or inspection contingencies. If you have a home to sell, put your home on the market, sell it first, make the closing date to be determined by the seller finding home of choice. If you make an offer contingent on you selling your home, you're just not going to get an offer. So sellers are looking for the cleanest, simplest, easy way for them to move along. So if you do have an inspection, a lot of buyers are waiving inspection. I really can't recommend that. But I have known agents that have recommended it. But here's the thing, you don't know what you don't know. So when you are looking at the home and making an offer, don't ask for closing costs. And I know this has been a practice forever. The buyers come in with their down payment that they're required to have, and then they ask the seller for closing costs. Lenders sometimes even send out pre-approval letters stating that the seller will pay. Well, of course, the buyer thinks it's obligatory. It's written there, seller has to. They don't. It's not obligatory. It is always negotiable. So over it, that part of it is over. Buyers are now, in order to be competitive, they're coming in with their own closing costs. I had a buyer last year, I think I wrote 6 offers for him, and he just didn't have the cash to pay his own closing costs. We didn't get any of them. His offer went to the bottom of the pile because he was asking for closing costs. If you're in multiple offers and you're asking for closing costs, boom, you're at the bottom of the pile. And I would suggest waiting a couple months if you can put that together. So it's 3% is usually what closing costs are. Some lenders are 2%. If you're using a credit union, be aware that credit unions sometimes have programs where they have a flat fee. I know Wings, as an example, not necessarily a recommendation, but as an example, has a $950 flat fee for all their closing costs. So if you have a $300,000 home, 3% of that is $9,000. So if you have a flat fee for $950, that's an $8,000 difference. That's a huge saving. And then you don't have to argue with the seller about closing costs. Then if you can pay the $950 out of pocket, great. It makes it all the easier for you. And there are no additional contingencies because it's not a grant or it's not money given. It is just that is what that particular company charges. Do go over closing costs with your lender. Be very clear what they are and what's expected. I saw this morning on Nextdoor, one woman was complaining she did not get a seller's net sheet until after they had an offer. And those numbers were not the numbers that she was led to believe. She didn't get anything in writing. So your lender will give you an estimate. And then once you have a house, he will give you a good faith estimate of all your closing costs, and that's what you should bring to the table. There should not be much variation on that. Could be a little for taxes or something else on the side, but there shouldn't be any variation. Offer above listing price. Sellers are expecting it. Last summer, I showed a client a little house, 673 square feet, 1920s cottage. It was adorable, but there were 3 people in the living room and it was pretty crowded. It was listed at $205,000. I was thinking this is just too small for my buyer. She's not going to be happy here in 6 months. She's going to feel like she's just crowded in. So I said, I don't think this is the house for you. So 15 offers later, 15 people thought it was the house for them, and it sold at $225,000. I did find her another home. It was a little bigger. It was one she could live with. We did pay over list price, but it also had a garden and a garage that she could live in and love. So make sure it's right for you if you're going over list price. This summer, the demand is even more extreme than last year. A week ago, I submitted an offer for $35,000 over list price. We were one of 18 offers, and we didn't get it. The winner waived the inspection, they waived the appraisal, and wow, how do you compete with that? Should you give up an inspection? I always counsel clients that they need an inspection because we don't know what we don't know. What I've noticed is that a lot of homes, especially millennial owned, are just adorable. Every room is an Instagram moment. But Utilities are kind of old, the windows are original, maybe the furnace is old, they didn't check the roof. So we want to look beyond that Pinterest or Instagram moment and see how the homes function. I always tell clients too that the best homes to buy at a good price are estate sales. Why? Because they belong to seniors, and seniors don't remodel, so they're dated, but they pay attention to the utilities, they pay attention to the windows, they pay attention to the function of the home. So keep that in mind. One agent told me she won the offer, and I said, "What were the magic words? What did you do?" She said, "We waived inspection, we did information only, but I bought an inspector with us to the showing." That's not so easy to do. Number one, you pay somewhere between $350 and $400 for an inspection, which takes 2 to 3 hours. Asking an inspector to come along on a showing is possible, but I don't know if they really want to spend their time doing that. So you look around, you make sure that you have an idea of the home. And as a first time buyer, you don't know what you're looking at. Do ask your agent's opinion. I see a lot of property. So I will have an opinion, but I'm not an inspector. So I can't tell you about the furnace. I can't tell you about the plumbing. I can say, oh, it's leaded. It's never been changed. Probably would want to change out the PEX at some time, but I can't give you those details. You can have one for information only, but that means if you say, I want an inspection for information only, basically you're waiving the inspection because you can't go back to the seller and ask for details. You can say there's peeling paint, and the seller says, so you're waiving the inspection. If you find something hazardous, yes, you can go back to the seller, but all the details, no. And when you're writing a repair, don't write in any of those things that you want the seller to fix because they're not going to do it. And again, your offer will go to the bottom of the pile. The sellers are required to fill out a disclosure of the condition of the home according to the best of their knowledge. But here's the thing, what's their knowledge? One time I was representing an 88-year-old widow, and there was a noise going on in the bank, and there's a silver thing. And I said, Gracie, do you have a well? And she goes, no, I don't think so. I said, well, what's that clanking in the basement? Oh, that's Charlie. I don't know. He's always done that. He's been here around forever. Well, the house was built in 1978, or pre-1978, but she had been there close to 30 years and never noticed that they had a well. The result was Minnesota law required in the 1990s that you cap out wells. So she was required to cap it. She didn't know. And there were other things that she didn't know, and she is not unique in that. Many people don't know. I even saw a couple of HUD homes who had condition reports. 2 of them had wells that were not included in the report. Called the agent, said, you do know you have a well on this property. Nope, he didn't know because he never saw the property and he just read the report. So Truth in Housing, Minneapolis, St. Paul, all of the first rings like Crystal, Richfield, Edina, all of them, Bloomington, have Truth in Housing reports, but they are mostly for code. Richfield is very strict, Bloomington is pretty strict. Either you or the seller has to make those repairs. You want to know what you're getting into if you accept it. If you accept in Minneapolis a waiver that you accept it, you have 90 days to make those repairs unless it is weather prohibitive. Like if you buy a house in November and you have to paint the exterior, you can't do it. Because below 40 degrees, you can't paint or it will just peel right off. So you negotiate with the city. But then if you do that, you are accepting those repairs. If it is for an investment, yep, most investors expect to take on repairs, and so it's not a big deal. If you're a first-time buyer, you want to know what those repairs are before you commit to those, because it could be overwhelming or you just don't know, and where that leads down that rabbit hole. Especially, one of the big deals that people don't know and pay attention to is plumbing. If I see a really old boiler, I just get nervous because I know the plumbing has never been changed. And the plumbing could fall apart or deteriorate because it is that old. So what do you get with an inspection? You know what you're buying. Surprise is a really bad word in real estate. We want to know what we're doing. Number 3, strong earnest money. Before we were putting down maybe $1,000 in earnest money. Now people are asking, that's not cutting it anymore, 3%, or I'm sorry, 1% of the purchase price is considered good for earnest money. This is not an extra fee. It is not an extra charge. This is part of your down payment. It goes into a broker trust fund where it is secure until closing. The purpose of the earnest money is that, like during the recession, some agents and investors were making multiple offers on different properties. One property, for instance, was in a short sale. The agent complained to me. He said, I've been working on this for 4 months. I called the agent and said, yes, I've got bank permission. He said, oh, my buyer doesn't even remember it. We wrote so many offers, we don't remember it. No, we're not going to pay attention. So the seller is out 4 months of market time. So you have a period of time in which to make an inspection in the house and accept the condition or negotiate with the seller. After that, you have a final contract and you are going to closing. So after the inspection period, if you change your mind, you just decide, nope, I'm not going to buy, the seller can keep your earnest money as market lost time compensation. Just be aware. So you don't want to make frivolous offers. If you're not in love with the house, or you're just not feeling it, don't make an offer. Move on to one that actually moves you. Cash. Sellers love cash for a whole bunch of reasons. First of all, there's no loan. There's no loan officer that they have to hold accountable for closing on time. Lots of things can go wrong in a loan. Somebody recently, I had nightmare for the seller. Closing was postponed 4 times. We were supposed to close in 6 weeks. We wound up in closing in 2.5 months. And it was totally the loan officer's fault on that. Seller was totally pissed. He had every right to be upset. That's what sellers want to avoid. They want to know that if you have a loan, boy, it's going to close and it's going to close on time. With cash, it's cash. You just close. Number one, you want clear title. Probably want to do an inspection. There is no appraisal because there is no loan. So there's much lower risk to a seller to accept cash. Yes, they wind up with the same amount of money, but it's faster and it's cleaner for them. So you're saying, where are all these people getting this cash? Because a lot of properties are bought in cash. What is happening is people are emptying out their 401k or taking an equity loan on their house to buy the next home. And then the minute they close, they refinance. So they do have a loan. They can put that money back in their 401k. And that's how they're doing it. Very few buyers are in that position if they are the first-time buyers. They don't have that kind of cash. So you have to be smart, make your offer really desirable to the seller. You have to think like a seller. What does the seller want? They want you to buy, be quick in closing, and leave them alone. But it's not always, it's never, I'll say it's never that easy, even with a cash transaction. Have your lender verify with the listing agent that you're a good borrower. Okay, so I always call the lender before, when working with sellers, to make sure that this buyer, number one, is qualified. There are no red flags, what kind of loan they have, if there are any conditions, is it going to be held up, and ask them to keep me in the loop in the process of the loan. The loan takes about 30 days to process. I want to know every step of the way. Why? So if anything goes wrong, I can advise the seller exactly what's happening, and not like, I don't know, there was a delay. We want to know why, what we can do, or if we're going to lose the offer so that we can put it back on the market. Listing agents appreciate if the seller or if the lender calls them, because then they know this lender is really interested. And if it's a lender who doesn't answer the phone, that's your worst case scenario. We do want lenders that answer the phone. What about a flip? Some buyers are cautious, and with reason. I showed one last night, and the quality of the work made me uneasy. It was a 1970s home that was purchased in March for $300,000, came back on the market at $425,000. What they bought is a house that needed repairs. So I wanted to see if there was that $125,000 uptick, if the workmanship was worth it or not. It is a split level. So the master bedroom, master bath, kitchen, dining room are in one level, and then there's family room and 2 bedrooms upstairs, big basement, 1 more bedroom, and another bath downstairs. Well, it has air conditioning and a pool. Well, I couldn't get the air conditioning to turn on. It was off. It doesn't. And as we were going up the family room, I'm not seeing either heat or air conditioning in the family room. And the two bedrooms, both of those had baseboard heat, absolutely no air conditioning. So the air conditioning was really confined to the main floor and the basement, and I couldn't get it to turn on. The whole house was spray painted inside and out, which makes it look clean, but I saw peeling paint on the outside of it, and it's just recently been painted. Not a good sign. There's no seller disclosure, so we don't know. It's an investment property. They don't know the condition. I asked about the pool, and he said, I don't know, it works. The pool was full, but it was filthy. And pools are very expensive. If you have to make repairs on a pool, the liner is maybe $10,000. I had a friend recently who had to fix her pool, and it was $20,000. So you want a separate pool inspection to make that it actually works, and you're not going to have to spend a lot of money on it. You do need to have a pool fenced. You do need to have to maintain it. I don't know in Minnesota if it's really such a plus, especially if you have small children. I don't know. You need to watch them all the time because you don't want to find that there was an accident. This house also had brand new appliances, but they were the absolute cheapest that you could find. The cabinets were all painted, so they looked new, but they weren't new. That's not such a big deal. But what I saw was this was a down and dirty fast flip with not such great care taken. As we were leaving, it had two brick columns over like a porch area, and one of them, the buyer noticed that it was like an inch and a half off its base. How do you fix that? That's ooh. And another one was leaning like the Tower of Pizza. I am not in love with this house. The driveway, which is at least 60 feet long, was just terrible condition. It really needed to be done. That's another $10,000. That was a fast flip. They were upcharging $125,000. From my calculation, they didn't spend more than $10,000 to $15,000 and are hoping to make cash in on painting the house. So in that condition, I said, no, we walk away. On the other hand, I have worked with some very good contractors who have done flips on houses. They've put in new furnace, new air conditioning, utilities, resurfaced the driveway. They don't always do the roof, but you want to make sure that the appliances are in good condition or they're at least a good quality. For $425,000, I think we deserve more than the absolute cheapest line of appliances. So hoping to make $100,000 on paint and a couple of cheap appliances just didn't cut it. My buyer said, "Oh, but it's got 5 big bedrooms," and then I said, "Yeah, you're going to face at least another $30,000 in repairs down the line." So I said no on that one. I won't say that it's always bad, but do know what you're buying, and if there is a market from what they purchased it at, you want to make sure that there's some value there, not just throw a coat of paint on it and call it remodeled. The other word, remodel, has a wide span. A coat of paint is not remodeling. Remodeling is all new, and this was not all new. So, what some buyers are doing, they're offering an appraisal waiver. What is that? An appraisal waiver is when you are promising the seller that if the appraisal comes in less than your offer, you will make up the difference in cash. And you can't even do this. You can't even expect to do this unless you have 20% down. You would want to talk to your lender, ask their advice if you can even think about it. In multiple offers, when the offers are $20,000 to $40,000 over list price, you have no idea what that number would be. Last year, I had an agent call me up and said, "Can your buyer come up with another $20,000 and give us an appraisal waiver?" I said, "What are we talking about? $3,000, $20,000?" She goes, "I don't know. We're not going to know until the appraisal's in." We moved on. I can't commit my buyer to paying an extra $20,000 out of pocket. She didn't have it. She was putting down over 20%. But here's the thing. We did find her a home. We found a home she loved. And the bank, because she worked for a bank, did an appraisal waiver. The property was under $300,000. She had 20% down. They did a desktop version and the numbers came in fine. But do I want her to take that risk? Not necessarily. Had another property similar. That party was with a credit union, and there was no appraisal. And I said, "What's going on?" "Oh, we waived the appraisal." Whoa. So it's a surprise. Some banks will do it if it is a strong buyer. Strong buyers, 20% down, really good credit, have all of their docs in. It depends on the bank whether they will or not. So understand an appraisal waiver says that you will pay the difference between the purchase price and the appraisal if it comes in short. To talk to your lender, don't just say yes to everything. Put your best offer in first. It's not like, oh, well, they'll call me back and I can put in another offer later. That would work 5 years ago. It doesn't work now. Put your strongest offer in. There's just not the opportunity to negotiate after the fact that there was before. Just don't count on it. Sometimes the seller will say, oh, we've already chosen an offer. There's no highest and best. Sometimes they'll call a highest and best. We don't know. One time an agent said highest and best by late this afternoon or by the evening. Then at noon he came back. I had a 2 o'clock showing. I said, okay, we can meet that. He said 12:30. The seller's already selected an offer. I said, what happened to highest best late in the day? Noon is not late in the day. Oh, the seller's very excited. And I go, whoa, it's up to you to control this. But no, it wasn't. We are in a changing market. We don't know what's coming. Things will change as the summer moves along. Here, the good news is usually people go away like this weekend. Everybody's going away. They're going up north. They're going to Wisconsin. They're going to visit family because we can, unlike COVID. So there's more of an urge to go away. So we expect this weekend, and people will be doing vacations in July and August. It usually slows down during the summer. The other thing is look for homes that have been on the market for a while. If they have more than a week on the market, you might be the only one. You're the only one showing up. So if you're the only one in line, guess what? No multiple offers, and you're the winner. We don't know exactly what's coming up. We're all hoping that things start to settle down and the buyers have more options. So stay tuned. I'll keep you in the loop. And if you have questions, you can always call me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in next week when we will have Italian kitchens. Big, glossy, very, very modern, minimalist Italian kitchens. So thank you. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Don't forget to sign up, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.